Good afternoon. My name is Nataki Pettigrew, and I am the Chief Academic and DEI Officer in Washington Township. So grateful to be here this afternoon to share some information about preparing for college. Just a few tips to share with you today. And so we'll get started with the very first, and that is your grades matter. It is critical that you keep your grades up. It is critical that you do not have C's, D's, and F's on your report card. I was in a conversation just this week with the president of a university here in Indiana. And one of the points that she made was that we have students competing in Indiana with students from all over the world. So it's not just a competition with kiddos in Indiana, it's a global competition. And so your grades must stand out. The school is taking a chance on you. And so really the strength of your grades, the strength of your course schedule in your senior year is critical. And so I would recommend that you take a look at your GPA today. Make sure that you have all A's and B's. And then if you have C's, D's, and F's, especially if you're not a senior, to take this time now to go back and retake some of those classes. And that means even if you have a C, you need to retake the class. And so go to your counselor, talk about ways that you can be in summer school this upcoming summer. Maybe they have a virtual program during the year, or maybe you can connect with Indiana Online Academy, but your GPA will matter. I also recommend that students consider taking AP and dual credit courses. Really, dual credit courses are the way to go because we know that those will transfer into your college. AP courses, you must have a certain score for that course to transfer. And so I highly recommend that you take a look at some of those courses. It will save you a lot of money in the long run. A few tips here. I would recommend that you have a diverse list of extracurriculars and co-curriculars. And I would say, unless you are a student athlete and you're receiving 100% scholarship or financing for college, you will need to make sure that you have really added to your resume, your high school resume. You want to make sure that you have some community service that's standing out on your resume and on your transcript. You want to make sure that you have demonstrated an interest in the college. And so if you know that you are looking at 4 or 5 colleges in the Midwest, and maybe you're looking at a few colleges on the West Coast, and maybe there's 1 or 2 in the South, you need to be on their mailing list, and you need to be on their mailing list now. And it's not too early. If you're a freshman, get on the mailing list. When it's time for you to consider your college application, I highly recommend that you have someone proofread your essay. No greater person to proofread your essay than your high school teacher. And it doesn't have to be someone that's teaching you now. It could be perhaps a teacher you had last year or a couple of years ago. And it doesn't just have to be your English teacher. It could be any other subject area. But have someone proofread your essay. And then you also want to check the curriculum requirements. So as an example, Purdue University may have more expectations if you're coming into the science program than some other school may have. And so you want to make sure that you check that for every college that you are looking at. And then finally, I recommend that you have a resume. And I also recommend that you have a professional headshot. Many scholarship applications will ask for a professional headshot. And let me just say, a selfie is not a professional headshot. A picture at your school is not a professional headshot. You really need to have a professional headshot. And the great thing is that if you don't want to go to a professional photographer, you can always use your cell phone, is making sure that you have a good background. And you could also use AI to help with your headshot. But make sure you have a resume that articulates what you have done up to that point, and make sure that you have a professional headshot. A few points here. The college app, there are over 1,000 colleges on the Common App. And so you want to make sure that you are applying. Most colleges now, they only want you to apply to their school through the Common App. And so you want to make sure that you are taking a look at that and you're being intentional about the colleges that you choose, because you only get a certain number of colleges in which you can apply through the Common App. So make sure that you take a look and that you can sort by distance, by location, by cost. If you're looking for a school that's test optional, there are still some colleges that are test optional that don't require the ACT or the SAT. There are some colleges that still require an essay, but there are some that don't. But you can sort all of that out in the Common App. So make sure you take a look at that to see which schools you are looking at and to make sure that you can apply through the Common App. You also, if you're looking at HBCU, which I would highly recommend because HBCUs are cost effective and they are great institutions of learning. The price point for an HBCU in many cases can be 30% less than a traditional college and university, and you are not sacrificing on anything. You're still getting a really great education. It's an affordable education, and it is quite the experience. You can apply to some HBCUs through the Common Black College app, and $20 will get your application to all of these institutions. So you may want to consider that. And I also want to just recommend that you take a look at HBCUs when you think about even teachers, Black teachers. The majority of Black teachers are from FAMU. The majority of Black attorneys are from Howard, have graduated from Howard University. So we have HBCUs that are really the top producers of Black doctors and Black teachers, Black dentists in the country. And so I recommend you taking a look at HBCUs as an option. And then, of course, we are right now in the midst of College Go Week. Now, while it ends on the 27th, there are still colleges that will waive the application even through October and then beyond. And so some of them have a code to use in the Common App, and then some allow you to submit an application for free all the time and all year. So just research that and see if you can take advantage of some of these waived applications. Of course, if you qualify for free or reduced lunch, you can get a waiver from your counselor as well for college applications. And then finally, students, use your resources. There's many resources that you can use. I always recommend that you go to fastweb.com to just take a look at some of the scholarships that are there. And then locally, the Center for Leadership Development is a great opportunity for you to build some leadership skills, for you to get in and network with some of the colleges. That's a great opportunity for you to be successful as well. The UNCF has amazing scholarship information, internship, and fellowship programs. So you definitely want to take a look at the UNCF, especially if you're planning to attend an HBCU. There's many more opportunities there. Many of your districts have an educational foundation. I know that here in my district, we have one. I know IPS does, Pike Township, Warren, Lawrence, all of them have a foundation. And at the end of the year, they have scholarships available for just students in their district. And so you want to make sure you take a look at that. And then obviously you want to make sure that you apply for your student aid. And now we know that's a requirement for students as part of your graduation, but you want to make sure that you do apply by the deadline. There have been some glitches in the last couple of months, really this whole last year. And so I would recommend that when it's time that you apply early in case there is an issue with your application. And then of course, the Frank O'Bannon grant for students that are juniors that graduate a year early, there's the opportunity for a grant there as well. I just want to encourage you to put your best foot forward. It is not always easy to kind of get through all of these changing requirements and how they may vary from school to school, but really you want to make sure you're ready. And the best way to be ready is to talk to your counselor, talk to your parents and your guardian, talk to your teachers, and do all the research that you can do. I highly recommend that you take a look at HBCUs as an option, but wherever you go, you want to make sure that you are ready to present yourself in a way that makes you competitive against all the other students across the globe who are also vying for that same spot in college. So I wish you all the best and looking forward to seeing all the great things that you're going to do, young people. Thank you.